Hey guys, Bob Saget here, right? And it's Bob Saget's Here for You. It's really weird to say my name, but it's almost like a rap song where you say your name over and over again. Vanilla Ice Ice, Bob Saget. I hope you're doing okay in this interesting, unusual, difficult time, and I hope you're well and all that stuff. I have a wonderful friend on the podcast today. I sound like a radio guy at 4 a.m. in Colorado. I have a great guy tonight. We're going to talk to him. This is my friend Greg Fitzsimmons. He's an author, a stand-up comedian for many, many years. Long time, man, and ladies. And he is just really smart. He's got 4 podcasts going. He is a podcast king, and we're going to talk all about those and about comedy. And I just really like him. He's really smart, really funny, gives me a hard time. I deserve it. My voice cracked. I deserve it. Hi, boys and girls. And I haven't slept. I didn't sleep well last night. It's one of those, I don't know if you guys are having trouble sleeping, but if you are, take these pills. So anyway, I don't have any pills. That's the problem. But that's not a problem. It's good. That's good. No pills. And I don't know, melatonin, highly overrated. But Greg Fitzsimmons is not. So before I introduce him and we see him on this wonderful Zoom, if you're watching on the YouTube, you can do what you do with this podcast. You subscribe, you rate, review it. You know what you do. And say positive things. Give it 5 stars like a Michelin restaurant that's still alive. And it'll get through this whole time that's insane in the world. And boy, my heart goes out to restaurants right now. Damn. Anyway, back to the happiness of the podcast. And I call you guys sometimes. So there's a phone number up there in your menu, wherever you're listening to this. And it tells you can call me. And I'll list on Twitter or Instagram stories or Facebook when I'm going to call you guys. And you call, you leave a message, and then I do call often. And once a week on Thursdays, usually, I'll have a show where I call people and see how they're doing. Because I actually genuinely care. I'm sorry, eye rollers and sarcastic people. I can't help it. I give a shit. So speaking of giving a shit, here's a guy who does. Greg Fitzsimmons right here. Greg Fitzsimmons. Oh my God, I love Greg Fitzsimmons. He is one of the funniest people and king of podcasting. One of them. I think he's got 9 podcasts, 400 books. Here he wants to be admitted. All right, I'll admit him. I admit. There you go.
Did you change shirts?
You changed hats. You said
right.
you told me.
All right, are we recording? I want to talk about this.
No, this is real. This is real. I'm a professional now. I know how to hit a button. So I got this going and that going. And the truth of it is, just because you've been doing this for 20 years, how long have you been doing this?
31.
You've been doing podcasting 31 years?
No, podcasting 11, stand-up comedy 31.
Radio
for 12 also.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I have questions because you try to. We're friends, right? Even though you might not think so.
What are you talking about? I went to your 60th birthday party with the Beach Boys.
And you know why? Because I adore you. That's why.
I adore you too. I feel like even though we didn't cross paths until later, we'd already both been doing it for.
And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? I've been doing it for 40 something plus.
Well, you started.
You're 40 something plus.
I'm 30 now. I'm 31.
What size bra do you wear?
I'm a 34A.
Right. I'm a double A because I love those batteries. I use them on all my things. So you've been doing stand-up for 31
right? Years.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And is the serious thing still going? Are you
No, that ended about a year ago.
Why did that end? I loved you on it. And
Thank you. And
you were the second highest rated things on, Howard.
Well, I was the second highest rated because I was literally the only other show on the channels.
No, there's the after show. There's the after show.
That's right. There was, there was a time when they were trying to produce a lot of other programming, and they did on Howard 101. They had Riley Martin, who believed in UFOs. Didn't believe in them. He had been abducted by UFOs. So
he should come back strong now, because this is the era of him. This is his time.
Died.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, maybe he can come back. Let's start that theory.
Well, if he comes back, he's still got to get his show back, and that might be harder than coming back to life.
If you can get into the serious building and you're a zombie, because you're dead, but you came back as a zombie and you eat brains, you'll get it. They're gonna they'll put you in that elevator, the little turnstile. You can get through that, and they'll take you to the whatever floor the elevators pretend they're taking you to.
That's right. You'll get a face scan, and when you're a goblin, it always works. The face scan.
He's going to be a gremlin or something weird. You know what I hate about comedians? I love all comedians except for the mean ones, but I still love some of them. But when all writers in a comedy room or whatever, and I just did it, I found myself guilty of it. You say the joke and or the words, and they're fine. But the other writer or comedian in the room automatically wants to better it. Yeah. Or just really all they're doing is their own synonymous words of it. You said a goblin, so I had to say a gremlin. And there was no need for that.
No, I completely disagree. As somebody who
is gremlin better than because you're a writer. I mean, you're an amazing writer.
I think I said goblin because Halloween is coming up, and I was free associating.
And I hate Halloween. It's just me because I wear costumes for a living. So,
Right. No, it is weird. Halloween in Hollywood it feels like an oxymoron. It's like.
I know an oxymoron. That's all he does is oxy. He's so dumb.
Everybody who does oxy is a moron for the most part.
Yeah, and some of them are in office.
Yeah.
Or the sons of.
No, you get somebody knocking on your door and you open it up and you're like, oh my God, you're dressed as John Stamos? And he's like, no, I am John Stamos.
That's a good joke. Have you said that before?
No.
Oh, that's great. You should go on stage right now.
I am. This weekend, I'm going to Cleveland.
Whoa.
Actually, by the time this airs, I will have already been to Cleveland.
So you missed him, Cleveland. I'm so sorry. Where were you?
I was at Cleveland Hilarities, and and I am, because of that, my wife is quarantining me. So
why are you doing it? I mean, I know we all everybody makes a living, and you want to do stand-up. I mean, you and I, so you did Cleveland because
I kind of forgot that I was still a comedian, and all of my dates got.
You're not the only one.
No, it's been 7 months, and
Right. I mean, other people forgot that you're a comedian.
Oh, right, and it's hard. That's why I stay on social media. But people.
Right. Same here. People go, "You're a comedian?"
Yeah. Right. And you try to put out. I've been releasing old stand-up clips.
Right.
Like every Friday, I had taped an hour of material that I was going to give to Netflix and Comedy Central and see if I could get a special. Then the pandemic hit. And I just decided to take that hour that I shot in Portland on 2 cameras. It's good quality, but it's just a club show.
Right.
One show. I taped it all in one show.
Was it Helium?
No. Helium with Portland. I love it.
It's great. It's a great club. It's a wonderful club.
And that's why I felt like, because it's such a good club, I felt like, you know what? This is what I do. When I do a special, I'm in a theater that has 1,600 people and a balcony, and I'm not used to performing in that venue. You are. That's more of like, you would do.
Well, I also do a small venue. I did my last special was at the Williamsburg Hall of Music, and that's not gigantic. It can be like 900 people if you can get them in there, but not with cameras. With cameras, it made it smaller.
But Portland's probably 350 or something.
Yeah, and it's like the OR. No, Portland's smaller.
Is it?
Yeah. It's kind of like the original room-ish.
Yeah, which is a perfect size room. The OR is the perfect
I like it a little bigger, but I'm not talking about comedy now. Sorry.
Why do women want it bigger? Don't you think that, aren't you isn't that a tell that you have a giant vagina?
Yes, I understand, but you just told everyone you have a small penis, is what you just did.
No, I don't. I have a big penis.
Well, what? No, Greg Fitzsimmons' penis, ladies and gentlemen, was just in Cleveland. And where will you be next?
Well,
are you really touring?
No, I'm not touring. The reason I went to Cleveland is all my fall dates, and I had a busy fall, and they
Me
all got
too.
canceled.
Yeah,
I know.
everything's gone.
I saw your website. I saw you rescheduling everything, and then I forgot that Cleveland didn't cancel. And then 2 weeks ago, the club owner texts me about my transportation from the airport or something, and I was like, "What?" And then he calls me, and I'm like, "Dude, I forgot. I'm coming." And at this point, they've already sold the tickets, so I can't cancel.
Well, you can. I mean, you could say because of stuff, but are they doing 100% occupancy?
No. They're doing like 30 or 40%. And the hotel is directly across from the club, and
not in my life.
And the right. No, you're in Cincinnati because the hotels are better, and it's got high ceilings and a balcony, so I feel like that's a bit safer.
You can jump.
Yeah, I might as well.
The problem on the balcony in Cleveland is if the guy above you is like smoking a cigar, his droplet will go right into your mouth.
That's true.
Right
trust
above
me,
you.
I don't think they're going to be filling the balcony on these shows. I think it's going to be like I'm gonna insist.
I meant your room. I actually meant your hotel room.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So this is why you did it, because you need to do it, right? I need to do it desperately.
I've done it twice. One of the times I did stand-up in the last 7 months
was with you.
Yeah, which was really fun. And it was really like...
What happened to us then? Something happened where I was nervous because of COVID, because it was, everybody had masks. There were like 20 people. It was Tom Papa's show.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of friends. And I didn't recognize Marilyn Rice Cup because she had a mask on.
I didn't even see her. I didn't
exactly.
recognize her.
It was very strange to have friends there and not be able to talk to them much. Not want to either. It was weird. And so you and I had like a spatially distant kind of encounter, and then you said something about, I don't know what happened. What happened? And then you got scared. You upset me, and I was scared that I upset you. We would let you. You're not Jewish, but you're Catholic, right?
It's the same. Catholics have the same kind of guilt. And,
it's 100%. That's what I'm saying. Because we Catholic and Jewish circled each other, and I don't know what we did because we're friends. I don't know what happened. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think what happened is like comedians are dead honest. And I think when we're backstage, we try to be not confrontational, but I think you want to be. I hadn't seen comedians in so long that I really.
I'm a human being, though. You're profiling me.
No, but I mean the energy of being around another comic who's going to be funny and who's going to bust your balls. And that's what I was looking forward to. So I think I was busting your balls a little bit.
Yeah. And I didn't expect it because I was in this, I'm your neighbor friend.
Right. Right.
I don't know what's happened to me during this.
Yeah.
I have become, and doing this podcast, it's all about human connection.
Yeah.
And it's not about, and that's what a lot of our relationship has been through doing your show for all these years, in whatever incarnation you've had. I've done pretty much every one you've had, including one right now,
Right. Well, I think that what it is you and I both have outgoing, ball-busting, funny personalities, but we also have thin skin underneath it.
Right.
I think
which is true of a lot of comedians.
Right.
Like some don't. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
So I think it is like there's two levels going on when you see another comedian. There's the level that is, if you put it in boxing terms, you're just throwing jabs. You're not trying to hurt the guy, but you're trying to provoke. You're trying to get something going. And then at the same time, they say once everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face.
Right.
So it's like all of a sudden he slips one by and you're like, whoa, what just happened?
Well, that's what happened. You sucker punched me with something, and I wasn't ready to throw stones, because normally in life, the reason I became a comedian was because there was so much hurt and all this other stuff, or just probably my soul wanted to be a comedian. I just didn't know it. Really. I didn't find out I was a comedian until like 2 years ago when someone said, God, I love your stand-up. I went, oh, okay. And then Dave Chappelle just invited me, and I did that comedy camp.
You did?
I did.
Wow. So I want to hear about that after we get through.
Yeah, because we have a lot to get through. And I take 2 breaks. They're do you take breaks in your you have 9 podcasts. Okay, there's yours. It's FitzDog. So FitzDog is alive and kicking.
Radio, yeah.
That happened after You after Sirius ended a year ago?
No,
you
I started Fitzdog Radio about a year after I started the Howard Stern show, because I'd have a guy like you come on,
Right.
and you drive all the way from wherever you live.
Yeah, that was
to
dumb.
The studio, it was far.
The garage.
And then you get there and you get set up and you talk. Oh, you came to my house.
I did all kinds of stuff.
That's
We've known each other
right.
longer than you think.
My son was blown. You came out of my garage.
Finish that sentence, because you just said your son was blown. I don't want people to think that. Because if your son was blown and I wasn't there yet, it means that you're doing something really wrong.
Well, the thing is like before I do a podcast, I need to get to a shameful place, because that's where the comedy springs from.
That's how you're vulnerable.
Yes.
So you have your son looking down on you.
Right.
And that's that old parody I used to do. Don't let your son go down on me. That was the Elton John. That was my first parody. And then, of course, everyone took it because it was the most obvious parody.
Yes.
The Elton John song. And parody, music parody, is the lowest form of comedy besides mime or, maybe a magic act where you pull out a dead bird.
There was a guy in Boston named Larry Rapucci who used to do song parodies. And one of them was, "You can't hide those thunder thighs." But it was a whole song. It was three verses, two choruses, did the whole thing.
Oh, my God. My parodies were good, but then I think I do one still. But the rest is all original comedy music, because I always wrote music, and I always just did that, so.
I love musical comedy when it's good, and I hate it when it's bad.
Me too. And that's what drove me to, like, Martin Mull was one of the first people that I saw do it really well.
Yeah.
When I was younger. And then I'm working on a documentary about him, which we've been working on for a long time.
Oh, no shit, really?
But we've kind of been halted. But we got Fred Willard before he passed, and Steve Martin, and David Allen Greer, and a lot of Eric Idle, a lot of wonderful people. And Martin is a genius, and he's an amazing
Did you get Chris D'Elia?
Artist. No, I think I don't think they were close. I don't think.
No,
do you want to go through a whole cancel culture type of thing?
No.
I actually had a good time. Well, let's just keep talking about this, because I'll tell you about the Chappelle thing afterward, because Louis C.K. was there and we had some interesting times together.
So I came, we were talking backstage, and it was very warm and fuzzy, and it was very hard not to hug each other. And then we were backstage, and I don't know what brought it up, but I said, when I first came to LA, and before I knew you,
people always tell me some horrible story about when they first met me.
Well, it's I came in as an aggressive New York City comic, and I came out to LA with kind of a chip on my shoulder already, and which, served me and didn't serve me. Right. And so you went on at the Comedy Store one time, at the Laugh Factory, and you were killing, and you went long, and I ended up missing a spot later because of it.
And I never knew that, but I don't think. Oh, you did. So you detuned my guitar.
So the next time I went to the Comedy Store,
the Laugh
Factory, because you pick up your guitar at the end of your set, and so
I used to at the Laugh Factory, and then Dane Cook broke the bridge on it, and playing it one night without me knowing it, because the guitar I left up there, and Jamie said, "I don't know what happened, buddy," and Jamie got it fixed. So, but I remember it being detuned actually.
Yeah, so I didn't want you to go long, and so I cranked all the pegs, all the tuning pegs, which was just a douchey, shitty thing to do. But I did it as like I thought you would laugh, like in part of me thought you would laugh, and then part of me was just kind of being an asshole. And you handle it. You hit the first chord, and the audience was dying because it was so out of tune. It sounded ridiculous.
You didn't realize you added 5 minutes to my set by doing that.
Exactly.
You detuned me. I got to tune it.
Yeah, right. It was like, and so we didn't talk about it for 20 years. And then we became friends, and I never brought it up.
No, till that night. The first night out of COVID.
Yep.
Doing a very socially distanced thing.
Yep.
And I got tested a couple days later because I was a little scared because it was the first time I'd gone out.
Right. And they gave us each our own microphones to keep.
Yeah.
So that we would go up and we would each plug into the XLR jack, and we would.
I didn't do anything right. I did everything wrong. I touched the other mic. I touched everything.
Yeah.
I hugged Tom. I mean, everything was wrong.
Yeah.
But I had fun. It was 10 minutes of strangeness.
Yeah.
And then Tom said they were going to put it up on YouTube, and then I don't think they ever did. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I asked them not to before, and then after the set, I said, please put that up, because those 20 people were so much fun, and they were so
lovely.
into being there, and I hadn't done it in so long that I had just joy was coming out of every pore in my body.
I noticed that there was leakage out of your ear and your penis.
Yes.
Wait, did it go up on YouTube? Is it on YouTube?
I have no idea.
I don't think it is.
No. So anyway, tell me your reaction to me saying that to you that night.
I was like, "What? Okay, what? I'm sorry. When I did that, I got really upset that I had done that to you.
Yeah.
That you got bumped because I did so long. Which I think I started to have a conversation with you because I've talked to people about it. And when I was on Joe Rogan's podcast, I talked about it. And I think I never know when I want to do stand up. And I thought because I only do like 10 when I go in, but sometimes it turns into more if things are right. So, and I don't want to do that, but I'll do 7s at the Comedy Store if I drop in. But then I learned, you know what? See if you can call in for spots because Joe Rogan's on there, Bill Burr's on there. There's no prima donna bullshit, But then Dave Chappelle will come in and not be on the lineup, or maybe you put, I don't know, special guests. At least you don't bump anybody. That's right. What I don't like to do is make the show longer. So when things are back, I need to do it more. This is teaching me how badly I want to do this.
Right.
And have a new special and I have all new material, but there's nowhere to train it. So I couldn't remember it. And I did, after that 10 minutes there, I did kind of a couple new jokes, but mostly a couple standard things that I knew would make people laugh.
Yeah.
And then Dave Chappelle asked me if I would come to Ohio, and it was amazing. It was, everybody was 400 people, socially distanced, masks and everything. And it was Chris Tucker and Louis C.K. Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. was there?
Louise. No, it was.
Did she finger blast herself in front of you?
Yes, but she told me she was going to. It was yes, Louis C.K. who I've known my whole career. From New York, from Catch, and from those days. What club did you play in New York? What was your prime?
I played Catch. Well, I was there for 10 years, so I would do the circuit. I once did 10 shows in one night.
Wow.
And I paid a friend of mine to drive my car. And we went from spot to spot to spot. And it started with pre-shows, which
you were a whore.
I was a whore, and I was hungry, and
Well, that's how you learn it. That's how you do it.
And $50 a spot. So I made what, $500.
When I was in LA in '78 at the Comedy Store, there was no pay, and the Improv was no pay.
Yeah.
And then the strike hit, and that was horrific, and especially because Steve Lebetkin took his life.
Yeah.
Because he had mental health issues, sadly. And he was a friend of mine. And I played all the clubs. But Comedy Store was really my home club. And Mitzi was really good to me until she told me I lost it. I wasn't funny anymore.
No.
And then in Vegas. You've lost it. You're not funny anymore.
Really?
Yep.
Whoa, that's crazy.
But that happened because someone that you know and that I know was having a problem with alcohol and had to do the show that night and got drunk all night and then got up the next day, and I had to get into this person's room to get them saved. So I didn't sleep, and I spent the whole day trying to get them ready for the show for Mitzi. And they were very close with Mitzi, so I kind of saved their ass. But in doing so, my mind was the last thing on my set. I was trying to help. I didn't have my mind on performing. I had my mind on getting somebody into AA.
Yeah.
So I learned a real good lesson. Don't help. Help.
Right.
Make sure someone's alive, but don't
That's
Don't-
right. That's like Anthony Clark used to have this joke. He said, when you go to Italy, there's a lot of gypsies and they pickpocket. And one of the tricks they have is they take a baby and they hand you a baby. And then when you take it, they grab your wallet. He goes, so a little tip. Someone hands you a baby.
Take it.
Swat it to the ground.
Oh, God. That's hilarious. I actually call when I'm doing benefits and I'm trying to help and you want to make money and you're doing it professionally. I've been doing my Scleroderma Research Foundation benefit for October 18th was our big live thing. It's either about to happen or it happened because I don't know what day it is anymore.
No, it's happening. On your show? We're on your show.
Well, it's
right
on.
now.
We're on my show, but it is on YouTube on the Scleroderma SRF page with a lot of comedians, and it's live. Anyway, somebody says we have to make a plea for money right now, and I go, okay, it's time to hold up the gypsy baby. Is
that what you say?
Yeah, because you hold up the baby and then you say, please help us.
Yeah.
We've got to help these. And you're being sincere.
Yeah.
And, that old joke, in Hollywood, if you can fake sincerity,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
You know what a great thing to do at benefits is, and you should maybe do this at yours, because I've produced a lot of benefits over the years. I had a friend die of spinal meningitis. A guy named Jerry Red Wilson. Did you know him back in New York?
No, but I know what spinal meningitis is, and it's not fun.
Yeah, so he had it, and I'll show you. This is one of the benefits we did. I don't know. Can you see the poster?
Yeah.
So we had.
Oh, looks familiar to me.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a sweetheart.
And we had he was a sweetheart. We had Artie every year. We did it at Town Hall, and this year we had Artie Lang, Colin Quinn.
But you got to have a benefit for Artie.
Lewis.
Oh God.
And so. Anyway, what we would always do, and I do benefit now for Best Buddies every year at the Comedy Store. And
I love Best Buddies.
So what we do at the end of the benefit is we say, all right, stand up for a buddy. And it's $100. You can make it more. And you have a bunch of volunteers standing around with clipboards, and they stand up. And each person stands up gives you $100. So we always raise like an extra $2,000 on the spot. I mean, yours is much more high profile. You could say stand up for $500. It's just a straight up.
You can't say stand up to someone that's handicapped. And people with scleroderma, it's very hard physically.
That's awkward.
That's that joke that Don Rickles used to tell that I've heard other people tell, which is, this guy actually got up with muscular dystrophy and he turned off the TV.
My dad was the host out of New York for the Jerry Lewis Telethon for 15 years.
Wait a minute. So your dad, tell me about your dad.
He was in radio. He had he was on one of the biggest stations in New York for my whole life. And he was like, WNEW.
Is he gone? Is he gone?
Yeah, he died about 93, 2008.
Carry the
20
one.
years ago?
Oh.
No,
So was he your big influence?
30 years ago. He was young. I'm older now than my dad ever was, which is a weird feeling that you haven't experienced yet. But my dad died at 53 and now I'm 54.
Well, I've experienced it with my sisters. They both died years ago, both of them. And then what did he die of?
He had just a heart attack, like instantly.
My family was all my uncles had heart attacks, 37, 41.
Really?
Yeah, really young. My dad had 2 heart attacks at 42.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he went down. He was having dinner at Rayo's up in Harlem with my mom, and he just went down, and it was.
What did he order?
He had the pasta primavera, and but the thing is, because it was Rayo's, when a guy goes down on the table, all the mob guys run out the back door.
It's like a scene from Boardwalk.
Yeah, right. Leave the gun, take the cannolis. And so anyway, but the point is, like, he was like a celebrity. It was weird growing up with a celebrity dad in New York City, because like his station carried the Mets and the Giants, so we had season tickets to all those games. And you'd walk into Shea Stadium, and people would just be yelling out, "Hey, Fitz!" And it was just the coolest feeling. And I feel bad that my son doesn't experience that with me as much as I did with my dad.
Oh, but you're a different person. And,
But they do. It happens. It happens, but it doesn't happen like in droves like it did with him.
But
it
you
happens.
also don't know. You're still a young man. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. People think. Right. I talk to people that are in their 50s, and they go, it just didn't happen for me. I go, okay. Rodney did his first movie, Caddyshack, when he was 58.
Yeah, right.
So give me a break.
Right.
I've
no,
got
I'm
a lot
totally
of stuff
kidding.
To do.
My belief is I crawled my way to the middle, and I'm staying right there. I love the middle.
It's a solid. Speaking of love in the middle, I'm going to take a quick break.
Oh, there you go.
That's a word that has nothing to do with what I just said. It was not even non sequitur of the worst
thing. Well, you could say it's the middle of the podcast.
It's not, though. Well, kind of, but not. No, it's not. It's the first long third.
Okay.
Which is how that's my penis. We'll be right back. I don't know about you guys, and that's all I have to say. I just don't know about you guys, but I know that you're similar to me in some ways. Many of you do not go out of the house that much. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. But if you don't, there's a lot of stuff you can do at home, important stuff. Like, going to the post office is not always a fun thing to do. It's a great place. It's not fun to wait in line a lot of times. So I have something that I've been using, and I actually really like it. And here we go. It's Stamps.com. Especially now, because we're coming into holiday season, and this holiday season, more people will be mailing stuff than ever before. And that means that the post office is going to be busy, right? That's an understatement. And you don't have time for that. I don't. Maybe you don't. And you want to maybe be home. So Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. That's right. I said your computer, and I said right to. And you can mail and ship anything from the convenience of your home or your office, providing that they are convenient places. With Stamps.com, anything you can do at the post office legally, you can do with just a few clicks. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts that you can't even get at the post office. I'm going to get you motivated. I am. So I'm going to cheer you on to do this. Stamps.com. It brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. It's right there. Stamps.com is a must-have for any business, whether you're a small office sending out invoices, an online seller fulfilling orders during this record-setting holiday season, or non-record setting, it's going to set some record, or even a giant warehouse sending thousands of pages a day. Stamps.com can handle all of it with ease. And you simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. And once your mail is ready, you just schedule a pickup or you drop it off. It's that simple. And with Stamps.com, here comes the money savings part. You get 5 cents off every first-class stamp, and up to 40% off priority mail, and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Stamps.com is a no-brainer. It saves you time and money, and it's no wonder over 900,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with my promo code BOB, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in BOB. That's B-O-B. That's Stamps.com and enter BOB. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. All right, we're back. So you, to me, are incredibly prolific. Like, I admire you. I haven't actually said this to you. Maybe I did when I've been on your show, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. This is really nice to hear. I appreciate that.
This time for me, this quarantine, and doing a podcast for me is something I've always kind of been a broadcaster. I mean, I've always done that.
Right.
I've always been able to talk for 4 hours with someone. But I haven't been as grown up as I am and had as much therapy as I've had and understood. I think quarantine also made a difference. I started this before I knew we were going into quarantine. I was in the studio going, hey, this is great. I'm at Studio 71. I'm starting my podcast. And we did 2 shows. Next thing I know, I've got the board, the soundboard here at my house because that was it. It was lockdown.
Right.
And I really think it's made a lot of people who are trying to survive through this and working on it and staying in touch with people, which is keeping you alive, I know.
Yeah.
Being able to do all of this.
Right.
It really is a reset for people on the priorities.
Absolutely. I've learned how to simplify my life. I mean, I've always kept my life pretty simple. I never bought fancy cars, and, we've lived in the same house for 20 something years.
I was there last night. I was parked outside. I didn't want to bother you. That's
weird because my wife walked the dog for 90 minutes.
I know. There's still hair on the back seat of my car.
Is it I hope it's the dog's hair.
I'm not sure. We're going to run it down to the lab and do a DNA check. If you could swab.
Yeah.
No.
While you do it, can you find out what percentage Irish she is? Run the
I already
DNA
know
test?
that. Does she have red hair?
She has dirty blonde hair.
That's what it is. And what color hair does a dog have?
Blonde.
Oh, I don't know whose it is.
Yeah, I know. Does anyone do a joke about how she's got dirty blonde hair? It's actually really blonde, but she never washes it.
They must have, but it's
There's
something.
Got to be a version of that joke somewhere.
It has to be.
But no, my life's always been I drive a Prius, and
that's a great car and a great thing to do.
It's a great thing to do, and my whole thing has always been like we take big vacations a couple times a year.
Right.
And
family vacations. You bring the kids.
Family vacations.
How old are the kids now?
My son's a freshman in college, and my daughter's a senior in high school.
So you don't want to tell me their ages? No, I'm
19
just kidding.
and 17. I'll tell you, my daughter's 17. You should know that.
I'm not going there.
And
I have 3 girls.
So I keep it simple, but it got even more simple because, if you start to treasure your family. I love my house more than I ever have because we've just sort of appreciate your house more.
It means also that you're healthy mentally if you love your house. A lot of people are going stir crazy and they live in a small apartment.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to them, and my daughter's in New York, but they're pretty healthy too. They're really smart and evolved, but it's really hard for a lot of people.
No, you told me your daughters are being super vigilant during this.
They're amazing. They are not going near anything. They get tested. They did go on a trip for a month with a couple friends. They rented a place, like an Airbnb type place, a house in like North Carolina, and they and they went there. They drove there and they stayed in this house. Everybody had been tested, and they just went to the store to get stuff, and then and they just loved it. It gave them a little bit of a break.
Yeah, that's great.
From the crazy.
Yeah, so I think it's hard. Like, and then we have a sort of bubble in our neighborhood. There's about 6 or 8 people that we're tight with, that we go to the beach with. The beach is safe.
No, not if you go on. I've driven past Santa Monica when people are like just no masks on each other, and we see.
Oh yeah, no, we drive the bikes down the path down to like past the airport, and the beaches are more wide open.
I've done that. That's when you get to the
beach.
Well, it's where you see the power plant.
Exactly. Right. So we go down there, and then we have dinners outside, and so I feel closer to them than I ever have.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what's breaking my heart is my mom is 78 years old, and I love the shit out of her. And
wait a minute, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's when you go. Why do you set me up for something like that?
You made it a verb. Boy, did I love the shit out of my mom last night. Oh, by the way, if you got kids listening to this, it's a good time to back it up.
Right, and if you could mail me some sheets, I'm at 2009.
No, don't give your address.
So
is that your address?
That is my address.
Don't give your address. You're a professional. I have to ask you this because people want to know this. How many podcasts do you have right now? I mean, you have Allison Rosen. You have
Allison
Fitz Dog.
Childish. I do a thing with Childish. It's about kids. I have grown kids. She has babies, and so I try to teach her how to parent, and she doesn't really buy it. And you've been on the show.
And I'm going to be on it. I'm on her podcast.
Okay.
Right around now.
We've had
also.
on Childish, we've had 3 guests of all time, and you're one of them.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, we didn't want to have a lot of guests. We said once in a blue moon we'll have a really big guest who's a good parent that has something to say about it, and you were perfect. You were
I
great.
appreciate that. You don't know you're a good parent until you see what who your kids are, and then you go, wow.
Right.
So and the key is just, I always say, drive them around, love them, and drive them. Don't let them drive.
Yeah, right.
Wait till the last minute, because
no, but also it's funny you say that, because they say, you know, the like I told my son about the birds and the bees while he was in the back of the car and I was driving, because I knew from his friend's house to my house was 15 minutes, and I was like, that is the perfect amount of time. We will have no interruptions. I won't have to look in his eye because I'll be in the front and he'll be in the back. And I got it done.
You had a gun under the seat?
Yeah, I had a gun under the seat.
Might have been a Glock.
So I have Childish.
Wait, so what? I have a question for you. I want to get back to all your podcasts, but Birds and the Bees, I'm not clear, because nobody, well, my mother actually told them to me. I was going to say, would you tell them to me? Because I don't know what it is. You know, I don't understand it. I don't know what that means, Birds and the Bees. And who came up with that as a metaphor?
Well, I guess that's why this site is called Bumble.
Interesting.
Because you're trying to get laid. You're trying to get old birds and the bees going.
You want to get stung.
You want to get stung. Yeah.
And when your stinger, when you sting someone, your stinger falls off.
Falls off?
Falls off. It rips off of a bee.
That sounds like something a Catholic would tell their child during the birth.
Or a Jewish person. If you put your penis in that, it's going to break off.
Now, I found Jewish people in my life, Jewish women, to be very free, not overly promiscuous, but very comfortable with sex. For the first time in my life, when I was in college,
do not generalize that. I'm telling you, don't generalize that.
Really?
Yeah.
But I find the Jewish culture is very open. It's very honest. It's a dialogue. It is by definition, you guys dialogue.
You guys, that's nice. So I'm you guys.
But can't you say that the Jewish culture has certain things about it that are positive? I think that
open sexuality depends on the person. I really don't think you can say that. I mean, are Italians more sexual? You would think so. They're Mediterranean, they're...
No, but they're Catholic, so there's shame.
No, Catholics want to. Jews have shame. There's guilt. But that means that a lot of times they're the ones that have the most sex.
Right. That's true.
Speaking of sex, what's the other podcast that you do?
It's called I do 4 now. There's Sunday Papers, which
that's where I got confused. So that's with Mike.
With Mike Gibbons, who you know. He's
I love
TV
Mike.
producer, and he's been my best friend since college. So I've known this guy for like 35 years.
Wow, I've known him a long time. He never mentioned your name.
So we do that on Sundays, and we read through the Sunday paper section by section, and we talk about what's going on in business, science, front page.
Yeah, it's a really smart. I've listened to it, and I've actually watched it, and it's really good. I mean,
thank you very much.
Two of you together, it's a real great two-hander. You're both incredibly smart, and it's clever. It's witty. It's not caustic. It's informative in many ways.
Thank you very much. I love doing it. I feel like
it's obvious.
Well, booking a guest, as you know, is difficult, and you feel sometimes like, I don't know if I'm putting people on the spot or whatever. But to not have to book a guest and to have a partner who is like your best guest every week is a joy.
I have not had anyone on here, and I've only done 50 plus shows. I'm a newbie, but you're probably on, cumulatively, you're on your 10,000th show.
I think I've probably hit over 1,000.
Between all of the podcasts?
Well, I've done about 870 Fitzdog radios, because I used to do 2 a week for the first 7 years.
Right.
And then Childish, we've been doing for 2 years, and Sunday Papers only for a year.
And what's the other podcast?
And then we added another one called Thursday Papers, which is a shorter version.
But it's you and Mike again.
Yeah, we do a midweek check-in.
I see. That's smart. I didn't know that. When did that start?
2 months ago.
Great.
Yeah.
I do this twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays.
Oh, you do it twice a week?
I do. And
No kidding.
sometimes I'll have a second guest on a Thursday, but mostly I call people. They call a number in my podcast menu, and I tell them on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook when I'm going to call, and then people leave me messages and I call them.
That's
and
great.
I love it. That's why this thing's called, Bob Saget's Here For You, because I really felt like, I don't care if people want to be cynical or roll their eyes about it. I actually want to, through humor, or just sometimes people don't like it because I'm empathetic and I'm just literally listening to somebody telling me that their mom died of COVID and they're a first responder and they're handicapped. And I'm like, and then if I can just get one laugh out of them before it's over, they go, you just made my day.
Absolutely.
And so I love that. Or I got a guy, I call him up and he's just stoned. And then it's a half hour. I did a half hour with a guy and he was talking about somebody, a friend of his dying, and he's laughing the whole time. I'm like, this
But that's the thing that we have found as stand-ups is if you go to a show and there's a guy in the wheelchair in the front row and you start talking to that guy and you talk about why he's in a wheelchair, what it's like, you get some laughs out of it, that guy loves you for the rest of his life. And the audience feels this release because they're aware that he's there. And it's like anything in a crowd, if something's different, people are aware of it. And when you then break down that wall, it makes people feel like this is what comedy is. It's
and that's what it is.
What's going on.
It is. It is. It's kind of like the first Saturday Night Live of the season when Chris Rock hosted.
Oh yeah, I just watched that.
He called out everything that's happening.
Yep.
These are first responders in the front row. This is where we are right now. Yep. And he just did all truth. And then you find the joke. And that's what I always did. And that's why kind of live performing, I do interact with the audience. Sometimes I won't talk to them at all and I'll work on my stuff. Or if you're getting ready for a special, that's a different kind of thing, or really want to do one. But the interaction is something I don't know. I break that wall to not just do the Seinfeld calls it, it's a discourse anyway, if you're just talking the whole time. But I just enjoy it a lot. I made a real big mistake once about in this area. You can call out a handicapped person if it's in a up with people kind of way. But I had years ago, Larry Flint was in the main room and I was on stage and I was hosting, and the lineups were insane. I mean, I'd bring out Robin, Richard. I would, it was just nuts. I brought out Eddie Murphy when he was working out Raw.
Really?
Oh, it was crazy. And I saw him do it on a Friday. I told the story too many times, but I don't care. He did it on a Friday, and it was really amazing. I don't know if he wore red leather or blue leather. I can't remember the whole suit that he ended up wearing in one of the specials and in Raw. And then he the huge applause. The walls shook when he came out, and then amazing at the end. He came back the Friday after, and I don't know. I don't think he went up anywhere else. I don't think he did the improv. I asked because I was doing sets every night everywhere, mainly the Comedy Store. I was living there for 8 years, and he came back the next Friday, and he was so amazing that literally it was like 2 minutes of a standing ovation at the end. The building shook, and I'd seen that happen before with Robin and with some other people that just had so much energy that night, but nothing like this. And as I walked out, he stopped and looked at me, and I just went, that was just amazing. And he nodded at me like, thank you, sir. No words, but connection. Yeah. And he's always been very pleasant to me, but it was so masterful. I think he's coming back. They just gave him a boatload of money to do another special, and I cannot wait because I'm sure it's going to be popping at the store. That's where he's going to build a new hour. He's going to have to. Yeah. And he'll go up in New York too. I don't know. He might do some theater dates. I don't know. Well, I heard Chris Rock was on Stern last week, and he said that when he was booking his venues for a tour that he was going to do this past summer, he said a lot of times he couldn't book them because Eddie Murphy was there like 3 weeks before. He was booked for 3 weeks before. And he's like, I'm not going in the same bill. I don't care if it's Madison Square Garden. I'm not going in the same building as Eddie Murphy within 6 weeks. Yeah.
So he was booking theaters.
But he
was
could.
active.
I mean, he's Chris Rock, and
Of course, but that's why he's Chris Rock, is he thinks that way. He actually thinks beyond just the joke, the set, the building, the time, the opener, the outfit. Like, it's all thought about. And
when you went to Cleveland, were you thinking about who went in before you the weekend before?
No, I didn't even think about what I was wearing, which was a mistake because I went up dressed as Bob Saget, and people were confused.
Old Bob Saget or new Bob Saget?
No, new Bob Saget. By the way, we should tell your listeners that we both changed before the podcast. I realized my hat was too bright, and you realized you didn't like your shirt for
my
some reason.
shirt, and this is, most people hear it. They're not looking at the YouTube page.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the shirt. It looked very wrinkly.
But you're also very professional about what you put out. Like, I've taken selfies with you numerous times, and you don't snap it and post it. You snap it, you crop it, you take another one, you go to a different angle. You were telling me like what angle to shoot at and how to set your phone.
Yeah, I'm demented. But I sometimes, and I had put on some weight. Now I've taken off, and I'm still taking off because
you look great.
Thank you. I've had most of my bones removed, but
is that your real hair, or did you get plugs at some
no,
point?
I never had plugs. I take Propecia.
Yeah.
I started it like 15 years ago.
Oh,
and
no
they
kidding.
say it makes you less sexual, but that's not true. I could hit the screen right now. But what are birds and bees? But actually, and I also, what else do I do? I am gray here on the crown, just the crown. I'm like soybean noodle. What are those noodles? Those clear noodles?
Ramen?
Is that what it is?
Rice noodles?
Yeah, those clear ones, right?
Udon?
Yeah, udon. So that's what my hair is here. And so I have to have this part just in the yarmulke, whatever you call it. I guess they color it. Yeah, they color my crown. And then they kind of feather it. But this is my hair. So my beard is salt and pepper.
What did you do during the pandemic when you couldn't get a haircut? Who cut it for you?
I let it go for a while, and then I started to do it like I'd get up in the middle of the night because my hair was tickling my ears, and I'd clip one side, and then I'd clip the other side. And if you do that at 2 a.m, when you wake up, your Friar Tuck, you're fucked. I mean, I literally almost, it was like the Floby, or a bowl. It was a bowl cut in its own way. It's like, you can't just clip it.
No.
It has to be like, they got to do it in a feathery way, whatever the hell they layer it in. And then since then, I've had my friend who also cuts my hair for 35 years.
Wow.
Yep, Jim Wayne. He's just an old friend. It was before I was on any shows or anything.
Wow.
And he came to the house. We were masked up. He was as socially distant as a man can be, and he doesn't go anywhere. So.
Right.
Are you getting an important text?
No, I was writing down notes because we're doing my podcast after we do your podcast, and I'm really
just glad I have you for mine. I don't really need to do yours.
But I wrote down some notes based on something you just said that I want to ask you about on my podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love when you do that work. I mean, you're very, very, a lot of stuff before someone comes in, but we know each other anyway. So
Well, I always feel like the thing that I learned from doing the Serious show is there was a guy named Tim Sabian that used to be he was the kind of executive on the show, but he was also really a producer. And he said, have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C when you do an interview. And for me, when I have somebody like you on, I know that 95% of the time it's going to be plan A, which is we're just going to hit record and go.
Right.
And then plan B is...
Well, plan B means you don't want to birth this podcast.
That's right. Now that's plan D. That's plan D.
Oh, but plan B is actually a medicine.
Oh, got it. I missed the joke.
No, you didn't miss one. There wasn't one because there's nothing funny about that.
You want to do an abortion joke. I'm going to follow it up with a serious...
Well, it wasn't an abortion joke. That's the day after pill. So you're not...
Different.
The moment you ejaculate doesn't mean life. You don't have to, apply for preschool.
Right.
Just if you actually just, if you're inside and and it comes out.
Right.
And you don't know. The point is it's not good for anyone to do that, to force your body to do that. but I take them every day because
Just in case.
Yeah, because I mean, for me,
Yeah. So you wear a mask.
I have a mask on my penis.
And are you wearing leggings? Is that what you texted me?
I did. I not only texted it, but I then tweeted it. I tweeted that I'm wearing a mask and leggings. I think.
Oh, maybe no. Maybe I just read your
I
tweet.
think maybe you did,
yeah.
but I'm not sure because I sometimes will
that's
text.
the work I do.
But I'll text. You do. You look at my Twitter.
Yeah.
But I'll text a friend, and it'll be they're a comedian, and so it'll be funny, and then I'll tweet it. So then they would look at the tweet and go, "Oh God, he set me up just to work out a."
Well,
tweet. But I didn't.
Bill, if you talk to Bill Burr,
I do. We're friends, and I would think you guys are friends, right?
Yeah, we started in Boston together.
That's what I would. So
what a week he's having. He's hosting SNL. It will have happened already, probably when yours comes out.
Yeah.
And then he's his show F is for Family got picked up for a 5th season.
Absolutely, and it should because he's one of the funniest, best.
But if you riff with him, you will see that on stage later that night. He's literally like building his set while he's waiting to go on.
Absolutely. And he's also been working it all day, all week, whatever. Yeah. And then there's new stuff coming into his brain. It's like Chappelle in a way. Where
you see him try so many versions of a joke before he locks it down.
Yeah.
He really explores.
And then he still doesn't think he locks it down even after, and I don't either, after the special.
Yeah.
But he's a monster. He's so good. And he was actually over here at my house, and we smoked cigars in the backyard a few weeks ago, and it was so special to me because we've become, really friendly, and nothing physical, even though he wants it. But
that's what the cigars are about, right? You kind of really stare in each other's eyes as you.
Yeah, but you can't blow smoke toward each other because of droplets and airborne, and we believe in science,
Yeah.
But he is such a good man. He is. And I was there, standing there. Actually, on my Instagram feed, you can see the picture from the night at the Tweeter Center, which isn't called that anymore, in Camden, the night where he did that set that started his career in a way, where Philly was booing him, and he counted down from 12 minutes, and he said, I'm doing every fucking minute. Yeah. And he goes, I got 4 minutes, and I'm using all 4 of them. And he just insulted Philly, all their sports teams, their food. You worship a guy, Sylvester Stallone. He's not even real. It's not a real character.
He's not even from Philly. Yeah.
Rocky's not even you worship a character in a movie. Right. He's so stupid. What about Joe Frazier, you morons? And I was just listening to it, and I was there, and he got off stage and went, did you see that? That was terrible. And I was literally next to Jeff Wills from Live Nation, and this is a long time ago, right? And I'm looking at the monitor, and I'm going, damn, I knew what it was. I was going to go on, and I had the sweet spot in the show with a lot of people. It was Tracy Morgan, and a lot of our.
Oh, you just tweeted a picture of it.
I did. No, I Instagrammed.
Instagram. See, I check your Twitter and your Instagram.
I'm on Pornhub also. I'm not. You don't see me. I do fluffing, so I'm kind of I'm a behind the scenes guy.
But don't sell yourself short on that. That is a lot of the heavy lifting.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't know, but you have to put a pinky in a butt, just off camera.
Because you're a gentleman, right? You don't use the thumb because you're a gentleman.
It's like holding a teacup.
Yep.
Sometimes I've had a teacup in my hand and the pinky's free, and I'll just put it in, and then you feel like you're the aristocrat.
That's right.
But Bill thought he had done so badly.
Yeah.
Right after he got off stage, and then I went, you have no idea what you just did, do you? It was amazing. Yeah. It was amazing. And I just had an experience like that in Ohio. And I hadn't done stand-up since you and I saw each other months ago. And that was the first time in months. And that was 10 minutes in the Valley when we did that. And then I went up at the Dave Chappelle wonderful comedy camp, and Chris Tucker and Michelle Wolf and Darnell and Louis C.K. And it was just...
tell me more about that. How did you get there? Was it a private jet to get there?
Yeah, Dave was very gracious and takes care of his friends.
Nice.
And so that was so gracious. and my wife Kelly went with me, and it was, it was all completely on lockdown and safe, and it was just wonderful. And I was able to do like 25 minutes. Dave walked in the dressing room and he points at everybody. He goes, 10s and 20s, 10s and 20s, 10s and 20s, meaning how long everybody's going to do. I said, so basically you're saying Chris and Louie and myself are 20?
You said that?
I did. And he just cracked up.
Yeah.
And I tried some really edgy, weird jokes that would only be done. I mean, they were dark, and I do them sometimes, but this was like my first time out of the gate.
Yeah.
But I did. I went into that area that you don't go in, and I think the comics loved it, but I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what to do next, and then I tried a couple, and then I remembered, oh, you have that. This is a new. I was trying to do new stuff,
right?
But they would have loved.
Well, it feels weird doing old stuff at this point. It really does. Like I looked at my material. I went through, because I have such a bad memory that if I were to go up right now and try to do an hour, there's no way I would remember the hour that I was doing all year.
You would by the second night. You would.
Yeah,
it's the first night where you're slipping and sliding. Honestly,
right.
I can't wait to do it again because I was doing material ready in March. I had a lot of dates for this year. I canceled on Canada, like a bunch of dates right before the night I was supposed to go to Vancouver. I just canceled it because of safety reasons, and they were mad at me, but then the whole country went on lockdown the next day. Right. So they couldn't be mad at me because I was told, don't go, it's not safe, and this shoe's gonna drop. And then a lot of my stuff was about racial tension. A lot of my new stuff, because I grew up in Virginia and it was racist, and I was just talking about it and being Jewish and being profiled as a kid and all that stuff. And that had been the stories I was telling, which is new for me. I haven't gone into tell more stories because I can do one-liners like 20 dick jokes in 3 minutes. Because how long does a dick joke have to be? Yeah. Actually, one of them is 7 minutes long right now. It's a very long one. But they say that the size of your dick joke doesn't matter.
That's true. It's what you do with it. It's how you deliver that joke.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
And then if you deliver it right away, then do you take a plan B?
Yes. Oh. Yes.
By the way, they might be my sponsor. Let's listen and see if they're one of my sponsors.
Oh, nice transition.
All right, here's one of my favorite sponsors on earth. You'll know why. Mirror, mirror on the walls, what is the best brand for my balls? Manscaped. Manscaped, of course. Hold on a second. Is that a nose pube? Good thing our partners at Manscaped are here to ensure you're taking care of your manhood and your nose hairs with their new performance package. Now, you can actually clean it off in between going from nose hair to, the lower regions. I just want to tell you that I have all their products because I get this lovely position of being able to talk to you guys about Manscaped and their stuff and their junk and my junk, which always comes up, or not always, especially when I'm manscaping, because I don't want it to be coming up. I want to be, safe and not get nicked. They don't nick. They have amazing products. They've got nose hair trimmers, ear hair, the lower regions. They got a hedge clipper. They got a weed whacker. It's crazy. I've had a problem. I kind of have Yoda-like hair on my ears. And how do you get rid of it? They got a thing, a trimmer, a Manscaped trimmer. And I'm going to tell you, you don't want to be pulling your nose hairs out with your fingers or with tweezers. That just hurts, and it can really inflame the insides of your nostrils. So what you want to do is get that little nose hair trimmer from Manscaped, and it is amazing. I keep it by the bed, and then, I'll use it in the middle of the night, and my wife will say, "What are you doing?" And I'll say, "Oh, I'm just manscaping my nose hairs." And then she'll say, "Well, don't the hairs go everywhere?" And for some reason, they don't. And I have a little tissue there, and I make sure it doesn't go nowhere, but I'm using good grammar to tell you, I don't know where the hairs go, but they're gone. The Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle, and it takes care of your jungle, no matter where that is. And included in this new package, for your package and for other areas, more important even, although, who's to say it's subjective, it's the Weed Whacker. It's an ear and nose hair trimmer, which is waterproof. So if you drop it in the toilet, no worries. And it uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Look, fellas, 79% of partners polled, and I don't know what poll this was, admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. It is for me. It is for other people. Why not use the best tools for the job here, right? This bundle includes the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. That's the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body. That's called alliteration, and it works. And let's not forget their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Don't you want to deodorize and revive your balls and have them all hygienically beautiful and glistening for the holidays? Get the Performance Package now to receive their 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. I got both, and I'm telling you, I loved it. I couldn't give a shed more. Also, you will receive a replaceable blade every 3 months to keep your weed whacking and lawn mowing time clean and enjoyable. There's nothing more enjoyable this time with your kids? No. Nothing like the Manscaping packages. The Performance Package is the best value that Manscaped has to offer. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET20 at manscaped.com. I don't know if you heard me. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code SAGET20. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds. All right, we're back. And that was a good transition.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of getting that surgery?
I'm sort of growing breasts at this point, so I'm halfway there.
The man boobs are coming in?
I've got them because I always bench pressed and did flies a lot in the gym, so I had good pecs. And
you
then
could
I
reinforce them.
Completely.
Yeah, you don't, because then you got...
And they just fell. Now I have I really do have A cups.
Pancakes. You got little pancakes.
Yeah.
You have muscle as memory. Just go and do it.
I think the muscle memory is like my brain memory at this age, and it's not as strong as it used to be. And I don't
agree. I don't agree.
Really?
I like your pace more, and I like my pace more because I can bullet jokes, or I could bullet performances, or I could put high intensity. Well, if I'm acting, that's required sometimes, so that doesn't mean anything. I like going off the rails acting, but in stand-up, I like being more deliberate and laying punches with it more now.
Right. Yeah.
And you watch Bill Burr, you watch Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock, they lay it out. They stand there and they'll do the quick flip on a joke. And sometimes now there are no jokes. Sometimes a statement's getting made.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are getting out there and speaking. I found myself doing that in Ohio. I just talked sincere for a few minutes and I didn't really have a joke.
Yeah.
I was just wishing people well.
Well, I think it's tough because that is a bubble. When you're performing at that show, you pretty much know how people feel. But I'm going to Cleveland where, it's Ohio. I would say the crowd's probably going to be 50% on one side and 50% on the other. And I know where I lie and I know what I want to talk about. I know what I'm thinking about. And there's a part of me that has to make a decision at this point, whether or not I'm going to play it safe, or whether I'm going to dig in and really talk about the things that I'm upset about and feel passionate about right now. And whether or not, I really feel like I'm at a crossroads right now where I don't want to look back and say, you should have spoke up more at that time.
Right.
But I also know half my audience comes from Stern, half of it comes from Rogan, and that these are people that are a little more mixed. This is not like a Dave Cross theater where everybody's sitting there with patchouli oil and what's that bumper sticker that you always see that's got all the different symbols of different religions and races on it?
I just know the fish. I don't know.
No.
It's not
Coexist.
Pisces.
Coexist.
Oh, I never saw that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I think you're driving too closely to people. Are you tailgating? I can't read anything.
It's actually a tattoo on the back of a woman's neck. Now,
I actually know a girl that has "How am I driving" on the back of her neck. Oh, it's on her tramp stamp.
Yeah, she says Irvine Subaru on the back of her neck.
She actually rents it out. She changes it like the blimp. I actually call every number on the back of a bumper sticker that says "How am I driving?" Or a company.
Oh no, my new joke. It was new before the pandemic started. Is I just had a bumper sticker made that says "How's my driving?" and then I put my actual cell phone number underneath it, and then I go out on the 405 South and I just start driving like a fucking asshole. And this guy calls me up. I'm like, "How can I help you?" Guy says, "Well, one of your drivers is driving erratically." I said, "Well, I'm very sorry, sir. And what kind of car are you driving?" And he tells me. I look around, I find him, I pull up right behind him, I start honking my horn. "You fucking narc, you rat, tattletale."
By the way, people should not do that, right?
I don't believe they should. Again, this was before the pandemic, Bob.
Got it. Because this is a bad time.
Changed.
I don't like when I'm in my car and I'm driving and people are tailgating me and driving like crazy people. This is not the time. And those people are making a statement that this is not a pandemic. I want people to know that sound was a plastic bottle, crinkling, that you're drinking water, and it crinkled. I don't want them to think like your arm broke.
No.
You just
or
moved
that their
your
eardrum popped. Maybe they're going like this right now.
I worry about that. My eardrum, my cochlea. Sometimes when my ears get clogged, I hold my nose and blow to equalize, like when you're underwater, if you're diving or whatever. And I do that, if I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm just worried that one day just one of the insides of my eardrum is just going to ejaculate onto my wife's head.
It seems so delicate. It's amazing when you think about parts of your body that are functioning all the time.
That's almost on the outside. I mean, there's a hole. Yep. Anywhere there's a hole, you can be in trouble.
That's
anywhere.
Right.
Urethritis, hemorrhoids. I mean, think about it. That's just in my ears.
Yeah.
I'm cock-eared. So, God, we didn't even get to talk, but I'm on your podcast, so we'll get to
And if you're enjoying this podcast and you want to hear more, get the FitzDog Radio podcast.
How can you not
iTunes.
Get to FitzDog? Who is your biggest influence, you would say? Was Stern like a giant influence on you?
I would say Bill Cosby. And
are you talking about what he's doing now?
Yeah, I feel like, a lot of people talk about as a comedian, you don't want to put the audience to sleep. And he turned that on its head.
He really did.
Yes. To him, a great show is, I leave. They don't leave at the end of the show.
He's streaming right now on a convict's back.
No, I would say Cosby. You mean right now, or when I started?
This moment. When you started. Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because I'm being inspired by people now that I wasn't starting, because I'm the same age, or they're a little younger than me.
Right.
Or some of them, the couple of new people that are like, just a couple, but it's damn amazing,
Well, I think there's inspired in the sense of what if, like when I watch Eric Andre and what he's done on his show, I just think here's a guy that, like Nick Kroll, like there's people that really shake it up and they really do.
And they're coming from another side, and it's just, you haven't seen it. It's got remnants of other people, but not really.
And they're deconstructing comedy. They're making fun. Steve Martin did it. He made fun of comedy as he did it.
Yeah, the whole thing, everything he did was a parody of
Andy Kindler. I watch people like that and I'm inspired, but it's not like I then go out and throw out my sort of streamlined, linear, observational act and start doing that. But it inspires me to see the possibilities of stand-up, and that There's no rules. There's this piece of stage and there's a thing that makes noise, and those are the rules. You can, as long as you do your time.
But there's a cancel culture. There's stuff that people are very sensitive to.
No, but I don't mean.
And politics is,
No, but I'm talking more structure than content of what you do. Like we were talking about musical comedy. A great puppet eye, Otto and George, like people that take the stage and they do something different with it. Robin Williams walking out into the audience. People that do fucking presentations on stage. You got guys that are.
Well, those are things that other people have done that before, but then Robin, that comes around every 100 years, something like that.
Right. So I think I get inspired when I see people break the parameters of what we normally consider comedy. But in terms of people that affect how I do it, Louis C.K. still to me is like a guy who goes headlong into a premise.
That's a wrong metaphor right now.
Headlong. He goes straight into a premise.
He does. He did material that I just saw in Ohio he is not scared.
No, and he takes it, and it's something that you would have a very hard time getting anyone to get on board for. And then by the end of it, you go, okay, yeah, I can see what he's saying. I get that. And that to me is what great comedy is. It's what's going on in here, and how do you then reach people with it and get them to sign on to it? It's not, what do these people want? Now let me figure out how I can give them what they want. No, that's bad comedy.
You're saying what they're thinking. When you open up a subject, no matter what it is, even if it's personal stuff about your family, about whatever. A lot of people are personality comedians. They'll tell you about their lives, and then they relate to it because they've gone through the same stuff. Sebastian's very good at that. A lot of people are. Cosby was, You're just, look what Jerry did. And
No, but I'm not talking about being accessible. I'm talking about
completing
the genesis of the material has to be like, for Sebastian, he sits in a restaurant and the waiter says certain things, and because of who he is and where he comes from, he has a reaction to that's genuine, and he puts it out on stage. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking about the comedians that take the audience's pulse and then tap dances for that audience.
I do many different. I change my style depending on what's going on. Like you're saying, I take their temperature. Literally, I actually do. I actually, with a Sharpie pen, draw numbers on my finger and tell them it's a thermometer.
Right.
But yeah, and then you have them. There's something very personal that happens that doesn't happen in any other form. Sometimes in theater it happens with a live audience, but there's nothing like stand-up. And I was saying to myself years ago, I'm not going to be doing this when I'm, really old. And I went, I don't know. I was watching Don Rickles go do it, all the way months before we lost him,
Yeah, right.
And
I think in some form or another, you'll always do it.
It's like Steve Martin Steve Martin said he wouldn't do it anymore. But he goes out when he's out with Martin Short. That's beatific what they've done.
Right,
and Steve is, he's just like 12 minutes of amazing stand-up in his country country bluegrass band stuff.
Right.
Steve Martin. He's
the other guy that was a huge influence on me. I saw him when I was about 10 years old. My dad took me to a theater because I had the records, and he made me fantasize about that energy of just committing 100% to making people laugh on stage.
And he did that organically. He worked in Disneyland, and he did banjo, and he blew balloons, and he did the arrow through the head, and he was he was also in the Golden Horseshoe Review, I believe, because that's a guy. They always had a comedian in there. Well, I adore you.
Thank you, Bob. I really think the world of you, and I think you're one of the most kind of vulnerable, sweet people that I cherish spending time with you.
Boy, this quarantine has made us really fruity pebbles, hasn't it? I love it. We're hugging virtually. We could do more. I'm not gonna change my shirt again. Let's
All
just
right,
show
so
show our man boobs to each other.
Catch part 2 on Fitzdog Radio.
God, don't look at this on YouTube. You'll throw up.
It's bad.
Fitzdog Radio is simultaneous with this, I believe.
Simultaneous?
I think we're on at the same time.
When it comes out, it'll come out around the same. Mine comes out in a week, so it'll be on the 12th.
Mine's on in 3 months. I'm going to have this after we have the vaccine.
Yeah, right.
So we've got the I'm saving this for the day of the vaccine.
And people are going to be like, why are these guys so glum?
We're all out. Everybody's fine.
Yeah, right.
It just went away. It was magic. Yeah. It was a miracle.
Trump turned into a great guy. What are these guys so hung up on?
He's a beautiful soul. Oh my. We don't even know. That's the weird part about not doing something that is out that day. You don't know, because of how nuts the world is, what just happened.
That's right. That's right.
This morning, right now, when people are hearing this.
Yeah.
Well, go to Fitzdog Radio. Go to, what's the Allison Rosen?
Sunday Papers and Childish.
And Thursday Papers as well.
And Thursday Papers.
How'd you come up with the name for that after Sunday Papers?
Well, we have a marketing group. Aziz Ansari runs it. We do it in Cleveland.
Oh. I hear a comedian's name and I want to say stuff, and then I don't want to say stuff. It's such a weird.
I said him because I read an article in the New York Times about him getting ready to do a one-man special, or a 1-hour special.
Right.
And
it'd be one man, but
it was one man. And
it's not him though.
He put together a focus group, and he focus grouped his material and had them decide what should be on his special.
That's actually really interesting, because he went through a difficult time. And
this was before that.
I see. Well, now would be even more of a time to do that.
Right.
Because this last special was interesting. It was, it was I call it, everybody said the same thing. Aziz, I'm sorry. That's what I was going to say, that I stopped saying, but I didn't want to say it, because there is a brethren and sisterhood of comedians. There really is. It really exists. And I think there's more of it now than ever, because people need to laugh and we reinforce each other. I'm talking to comedians more now than I ever have.
Right. And
I know you are. And so I'm going to talk to you on your podcast if people want to hear that. So I miss you.
Miss you too. Can't wait to see you again, hopefully soon. And the Comedy Store, whatever version of the Comedy Store will be running soon.
I hope it. Well, it can't. I mean, we have to wait till everything's safe. They can't open. We got laws to deal with. We might have a rise happening, and a spike in this thing, because it is real. And if people think it's not, then that I can't deal with. That is where there is science exists, because I've lost 2 sisters, and one was from scleroderma, and her lungs got pulmonary hypertension, and that's COVID affects the same thing. Yeah. And anyway, I just wish people a lot of health, because this is everybody. I'm wishing it for everybody, even deniers, because those are the people that'll get sick and won't believe it's happening.
Yeah.
Because they're drinking and obese.
Right.
And they have guns. That's a good combos. All right. Well, I'll be talking to you.
Okay. Talk to you in about 5 minutes.
What?
I'll talk to you. Don't you do that to me.
I don't know what. I'm really busy.
Sorry, we ran a little long.
I just have to go do a quick little doodle, and then I'll be. We'll talk and we'll review what just happened. It'll be the after show for us.
We'll get Aziz Ansari to focus group it for us.
I miss you.
I miss you too. I'll see you soon. All right.
Bye. Greg Fitzsimmons. I love him. He's a wonderful guy and really, really funny. So I want to thank him again, but I can't because he's gone. So thanks for listening. You know what you do. You rate, review, subscribe, and do nice stuff. Say nice stuff. Just, if you say something really mean, it's just painful. I've been through enough. How much therapy does a man need? And I think well of you. I'd rate you well. Good whining, Bob. And you know what you can do? You can call that phone number that's up there, and I will call you. I will call you guys when I tell you I'm going to call people on Twitter, Instagram stories, or Facebook. I will call you and then I'll run it on a Thursday pretty often, almost every Thursday. So take care of yourselves and just be good to yourself and think positive, right? As we get through this difficult time, and we're all on this ship together. And it's not the Titanic. We're going to get through this. But damn, we got some work to do. All right. Lots of love, everybody. I don't know about you guys, and that's all I have to say. I just don't know about you guys, but I know that you're similar to me in some ways. Many of you do not go out of the house that much. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. But if you don't, there's a lot of stuff you can do at home, important stuff. Like, going to the post office is not always a fun thing to do. It's a great place. It's not fun to wait in line a lot of times. So I have something that I've been using, and I actually really like it. And here we go. It's Stamps.com. Especially now, because we're coming into holiday season, and this holiday season, more people will be mailing stuff than ever before. And that means that the post office is going to be busy, right? That's an understatement. And you don't have time for that. I don't. Maybe you don't. And you want to maybe be home. So Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. That's right. I said your computer, and I said right to. And you can mail and ship anything from the convenience of your home or your office, providing that they are convenient places. With Stamps.com, anything you can do at the post office legally, you can do with just a few clicks. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts that you can't even get at the post office. I'm going to get you motivated. I am. So I'm going to cheer you on to do this. Stamps.com, it brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. It's right there. Stamps.com is a must-have for any business, whether you're a small office sending out invoices, an online seller fulfilling orders during this record-setting holiday season, or non-record setting, it's going to set some record, or even a giant warehouse sending thousands of pages a day. Stamps.com can handle all of it with ease. And you simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. And once your mail is ready, you just schedule a pickup or you drop it off. It's that simple. And with Stamps.com, here comes the money savings part. You get 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, it's a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Stamps.com is a no-brainer. It saves you time and money. And it's no wonder over 900,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. There's no risk. And with my promo code BOB, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in BOB. That's B-O-B. That's Stamps.com and enter BOB. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.